Tonight at 10, we're in Edinburgh, where the King has been presented with the crown jewels of Scotland.
Named, and likely a huge shock to many viewers.
The ceremony was steeped in tradition.
Wednesday was the last time Hugh Edwards appeared on BBC News, that night from Edinburgh. The next day, the BBC quietly took him off air. Now, the secret that has been speculated upon across social media for days is public.
At the end of the month,
Hugh Edwards, the main face of the BBC's flagship News at 10 for 2 decades, is the presenter at the centre of allegations of misconduct. This evening, his wife Vicky Flynn released a statement, naming her husband out of concern for his mental well-being and to protect our children. Hugh, she said, is suffering from serious mental health issues. As is well documented, he has been treated for severe depression in recent years. The events of the last few days have greatly worsened matters. He has suffered another serious episode and is now receiving inpatient hospital care where he'll stay for the foreseeable future. Once well enough to do so, he intends to respond to the stories that have been published. She said her husband had been first told of the allegations last Thursday. In the circumstances, and given Hugh's condition, I would like to ask that the privacy of my family and everyone else caught up in these upsetting events is respected. I know that Hugh is deeply sorry that so many colleagues have been impacted by the recent media speculation. We hope this statement will bring that to an end. Moments earlier, the Metropolitan Police had confirmed it was not investigating, that there was no evidence to suggest a criminal offence had been committed in the case. The BBC had responded, saying, having paused its investigation yesterday at the request of the police, it would now restart it with a thorough assessment while continuing to be mindful of its duty of care to all involved. For many, the processing of this news is just beginning.
He's the face of the BBC in many ways, particularly in terms of news. Absolutely. I don't think it's quite such a shock. I think the speculation has been so rampant for the last few days that it's more a relief, in a sense, than a shock.
The Sun broke the story in its Saturday paper, alleging that a high-profile, unnamed presenter at the BBC had paid £35,000 to a much younger person for sexually explicit images, beginning when that younger individual was 17. More allegations were front page every day since, although on Monday the lawyer for the young person said the story was rubbish and nothing criminal had taken place. Some will now be asking whether the Sun has questions to answer for its decisions. Tonight, the paper said it has no plans to publish further allegations. It added that it, at no point in our original story, alleged criminality, and also took the decision neither to name Mr. Edwards nor the young person involved in the allegations.
Why are we not saying to the Sun newspaper, you published these allegations, you asked the BBC to actually give the detail you wouldn't give? What's the Sun's response? Has it got photographs? Has it got details of bank transfers and so on? It hasn't put them forward, and a lot of former tabloid editors are asking the same questions.
We must not forget, though, that Hugh Edwards is suspended from the BBC. He may not be facing a criminal investigation, but he is accused of potential misconduct. And if true, there's a family and a young person who are also in trauma. In recent years, Hugh Edwards has publicly shared his struggles with mental health in a Welsh documentary.
I've talked to Hugh about his depression several times in the past, and I think it's good that people feel able and willing to be open about their mental health. But I know exactly what will be the thinking behind that in some of our newspapers tonight, as Vicky Flynn makes that appeal for privacy. Part of them are thinking, oh, well, if the guy talks about his mental health and he ends up in hospital, then I think that's a legitimate thing to cover.
The future of the United Kingdom is uncertain.
Now the man who has held viewers' hands through some of the most significant moments of the nation's history is asking to be left in private.
That's BBC News at 10.
Whether he can find a way back to health and broadcasting is a question for the future. Katie Razzle, BBC News.